Hi everyone, it's Karen here and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to be part of another amazing YouTube hop. This hop is called Old Treasures and it's running between September 24th and October 1st. And look at all the amazing sponsors that we have. There's so many of them. I've created a mixed media altered camera. This is a real camera that I altered using different mediums that I love to use. And I added lots of embellishments. I took lots and lots of pictures so you can see all different angles. I'm really excited to be joining some amazing talented friends, and all of them have created something altered for this hop. And it is a mixed media hop, so there's a lot for you to learn. Stay tuned until the end of this video so I can tell you how you can win some amazing prizes from these sponsors. You have until October 1st to enter the giveaway. Okay, when I originally joined the altered hop with all of these cool friends of mine, I wasn't sure what I was going to alter, but I immediately thought of this really cool camera that I got at a flea market. I originally got another camera from my father-in-law and I wanted to alter it. However, everybody told me not to do so because it was a relic and I shouldn't alter it. So I have it sitting there. And when I was at a flea market, I saw this one. I got it for $15. It goes up for about $40 on eBay. And I thought it was really cool. I think it's by Ansco. And it's just a really, really cool camera. And I'm going to alter it because I really want to do it. I actually glued everything already on it. Everything that I wanted to be on it. As soon as I saw this big flash, one of the things I wanted to put is those metal clocks from Finnabair. So I just thought it was amazing and I wanted to kind of build it up to make it look like flash. And here I added some embellishments as well. I put a smaller clock around this and then some gears. I mean, I did cover the lens, but it was going to get covered anyways by some black gesso that I was adding and stuff like that in the paint. Up here, if you see this, it's really cool. I used some of these Lotus flowers on top of some of the bottle caps and use a real light bulb. I was going to use some of the Prima light bulbs, but I actually thought better to use a real one. It's perfect. And what I did is I squeezed the actual, I'll show you, I squeezed the actual flower onto it so it will hold well. I all have some chipboard pieces and some other things with the heart. And on the side here I have some other embellishment. This actually has a string to it, but I actually took it off. It's like a handle or whatever to carry it, but instead I'm just attaching some of the Tim Holtz I don't remember what these are called, but you know, like the clasps that I've used before. In the back I'm keeping it really simple. Here there was a hole with a glass opening, and here as well. So I put a couple of gears and a couple of embellishments on this just to have fun with it. And you can see the camera in the back. It looks like it's from the 1950s or the 1940s. It's not very expensive. You can get one on eBay easily. And here I found this metal word that says memories. Now, one of the main things that I wanted to do, and this is something that I haven't glued on, is that I wanted to put something here on top. It kind of felt empty, and I want to show you what I mean. So I will put this and show you what I'm doing with this. I took 2 frames and I printed a little picture of my family on my sprocket. I'll show you the sprocket. Hold on. I actually divided a picture, which is a 2x3 size, into a smaller picture. I had to do this twice to really measure it in. And this is going to hold my picture on both sides. So what I'm going to do is, once everything is ready, I'm going to have this hanging on here. Actually, I cut another picture. So I had 2 pictures that I could do. I'm going to cut this one as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this picture in between the other one, and this is going to go right here as if the picture was taken. And this is all going to be in the same color, but I can't color it in right now because it's going to muck up the picture. So I'm going to paint these frames separately and put color on them and then add them as well. So this is going to be a really cool frame, and you'll see it in the pictures later on.
So I really wanted to show you everything that I added. I'll put as many embellishments as I can down in the description area for you to find, whatever I can find, but literally any metal or chipboard embellishment works. I'll even put the link to the sprocket, which I love and I use all the time. The 2x3 pictures are perfect for scrapbooking. So I'm going to list everything, and I'll see if I can find even a camera, some old cameras on eBay that I can list so you guys can buy as well. Some of the most boring parts for me is to cover everything in heavy black gesso or in black gesso, just because it's such a monotonous thing to do. But in order to have something turn out really beautiful and look like a treasure, black gesso works really well. So I am going to paint everything with black gesso. And I mean everything, every nook and cranny, everywhere that I can get to. I am not going to add any other texture to this because the camera already has some texture, and I also want to kind of make the embellishments stand out. So I am just going to cover everything with the black gesso, including these frames that I'm going to be adding later on and gluing later on. So I know sometimes it's very hard to do this because you feel like you're ruining something by adding black, but the end result is always so beautiful. So I really mean that when I mean everything, I have to add it everywhere. So I just want to show you the areas. I'm going to do this off screen and just paint everything, and then you'll just see the end result, because it's really silly to just show you how to paint. I'm really not doing anything. I might grab some smaller paint brushes to get in between the little embellishments. Sometimes to get in between the nooks and crannies, I tend to pound the paintbrush this way. That helps to get all the little areas well covered. And if I miss anywhere, then I can go back afterwards and add some more. I'm also going to do the back and the top as well. Another thing I wanted to mention actually before I go off screen is that gesso is really important to add, and it can be added to any surface to make everything even. So I always explain this, but for those of you who have maybe not seen my videos before, the reason why I add the gesso is because I need a primer to add the paint. So what the gesso does is that it helps even out the field for everything. So because I have so many different types of materials for these embellishments, and even for the camera itself, which is basically plastic in the background, because I have glass and metal and I also have plastic, I want to make sure that my background is all even, it's all the same. This is why gesso helps. But not only does it work as a primer, but it also works to even out the base for the paint. So once I have this on, I don't have to worry about it looking differently depending on where it's being added on. And not only that, paint doesn't always go on every type of material. It actually comes off. And gesso, because it has tooth to it, it has grit, it actually attaches itself to most materials, and that's why it's so good to add as a primer. This is why we add primer to a wall when we paint it. So this is basically the reasons why I'm adding the gesso. You could add white gesso if you want to, and that would give you a different effect. But to get that really nice treasure metallic look, the black look, and that it will look really metallic, black is the perfect option for it. So that's, as you can see, like it really gives a beautiful coverage to everything. And you can even add it on glass here, on resin. So black gesso basically goes on everything. And once we add the paint, you will really see all those beautiful textures coming out to the surface. Okay, once everything is covered, and I mean everything, although I do have some little dots here and there, but it doesn't matter. It will get covered by the paint. And I'm showing you how I'm covered everything. And if I missed anything, I can always go back. Like here I see I missed this little key. I can go back on that. But in the meantime, I'm going to start painting. What I want to use today is the new Opal Magics. They're interference paints from Prima Finnabair. It's Art Alchemy Opal Magic. I am starting with 3 colors. I'm not sure. I might add other colors afterwards. There's the blue green, there is the violet green, and then there's the teal blue. I'm going with like a bluish themed, but you never know with the Opal Magics because they're interference paints. They do tend to change color depending on the background. So they are like sometimes just fun to watch what's going to happen. You don't always know what's going to happen. You think you know, but then they mix with other colors and they become different. So let's see what is going to be. Because they look purple. Oops, I'm going to move this a little bit. They do look, let's say, purple, but they end up being, let's say, green. So I'm going to play around with these colors just for the fun of it and see what comes out. I always like having a paint wipe handy so I can wipe off the excess, and I'm going to basically start painting. Now I want to be able to have the brush quite dry, so I get like kind of the dry effect on the brush and not cover too much. I still want to see that really nice black shadow underneath. That is why we put the black gesso. So I took very little bit on the paintbrush and I'm going to add this here. Now I want to wipe it off. I wipe it off and then I want to take the next color, which I thought I did, but it didn't show as much. I guess they're very similar in color. So the point of this is just lightly adding the paint so you really get those shadows underneath. Oh, that's really nice. I like this green. It's really pretty. So some places I can add more if I want to cover more area, and some I can add less. So for example, I want to keep kind of this shadow underneath there, the black, so I don't want to add too much there. Let's add some over here. And I'm going to lift this up a little bit so you really get a good view this way. Now let's add a little bit of the teal as well. Let's see what happens when I add this one on the other side. Oh, it's beautiful. So this is a really nice color. Wow, I like this one a lot. It's kind of a beautiful blue. I'm going to add very little bit here inside the frame. So the key to this is to have very little bit on the paintbrush, so you're not putting a lot of paint and you're getting that really nice distressed look. I want to make sure that all the little embellishments that I added really start showing through. So for example, there's a bottle cap right underneath here that I'm trying to kind of make it show. So now because this is a 3D object, it's really hard to show you everywhere. I'm also turning it around and I want to show you like the way to do it, and especially in the smooth areas, is you really need to have so little bit, and I keep on saying it, but it's really important. You want to have so little bit on that it just gives it a tinge. Now you could cover it all. I mean, there's different techniques to do with this. You don't have to have it like the way I'm doing it, where it's very little bit. I chose this way because it's just a preference that I have for this project, but you can easily just add a lot more paint and make it more stand out even more. So that's an option that you have. I wanted to add gold to this as well, so that's why I was being very gentle with the blue, because I want to have the black, I want to have the blue, and I want to have the gold. But if you see that some areas you got a lot on that you don't want, you can always take a wipe and remove some of it. Oh, it removed the paint, so never mind. I need to fix this. So you can always go back and fix, and that's something important to know, because a lot of people get very stressed if they make a mistake. So let's say you made a mistake and you put too much paint where you didn't want it. You can go and fix it, put the black back on. Of course, you need to make sure you dry it up. And then you go back and you add more color. So I'm going to let that dry naturally in the meantime while I add colors somewhere else, because there's so many places still that I have to add color to. I'm going to send this one up a little bit as well. So I'm just continuing to paint around everything, making sure that I cover all areas. You really want to bring on those embellished areas. You really want to be able to show the highlights of everything. And this light bulb, I'm probably going to do golden color, but in the meantime, I'm just adding these colors to it. And I think I'm going to go really strongly here in the back. I want it to kind of show. So this is what I mean. You can really go and cover everything and not just have the highlights. So you have the two options, and both of them look really, really nice together. I'm almost liking the really deep color. I want to add a little bit more color because of that onto the other areas to kind of make it kind of run down. I have to paint the embellishments as well, both front and back, so they look like they match. The hanging embellishments, I mean. And I want to do the same thing on the other side. And always turn everything around. I almost need like one of those lazy Susans, because I just like it. I mean, I just need to turn things around to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And anytime I turn it around, I realize I missed a place. So it's a good thing to actually turn it around so you can actually see if you missed any areas. It really looks cool. Okay, good. Now I want, before I add the gold, I brought in a little bit of a royal blue color. This is not an Opal Magic. This is an acrylic paint from the same collection, from the Art Alchemy as well. And it's a very beautiful blue. I think it's from the winter release of 2018, and look how beautiful it is. But I'm going to be very, very, very gentle with this one, meaning I don't want to add a lot of it on. You have to, because it's very bright. So I just want to add it in some places, because I really find it that it's just beautiful. And it just accents everything really well. I think I'm going to use the royal blue in this case, or maybe I'll make a combination between the royal blue and this, just to do the frames. I mean, there's two, right? So one will be for the front and one will be for the back. Wow, the combination of the royal blue with this color, this Opal Magic color, which is the violet green, looks beautiful. I love it. So I'm going all the edges of my frame. There's one done. How quick is that? So once they're done, then I can put my photo in there. I just want to make sure that I have it all done. Okay, good. Now let me just turn this around, because I need to add a little bit of the royal blue in the back as well. So it's just adding a few accents here and there. Really love the blue. I decided to also add, and I just tested it over here, golden moss. I went to get it. It's a beautiful like olive green golden color, but again, only few accents in this one, not even so many as the royal blue, because I don't want to overpower everything with color. So you need to kind of like pace yourself on the colors, because I want to like add so many things, but I just think a few accents here and there really make a difference in the end. So sometimes I do test things in advance to make sure that they will look good. That's why I go test it and then I come back and put it on. So in this case, I just grabbed it and it made sense to just add it on. What I liked about this green is that it gave like kind of like, it started giving it those golden highlights, but it also makes it a little bit more earthy, more antique-ish looking. So I wanted to kind of have that antique look, because that's what I was going to kind of make this look like a treasure, like an old treasure, an old camera. So, which it is an old camera, but I mean like actually make it look antique. This didn't look so antique, so I really wanted to make this more antique looking, because the camera is technically only from the 50s, not so antique-ish. So that's why. And there, that's it. So now I'm going to add the gold. Okay, to add the beautiful gold, I'm going to take two colors, two waxes. These are the metallic waxes from Prima Finnabair. There is the vintage gold and the white gold, and I'm going to combine them together. I love using my fingers for this, but you don't have to do that. You can always use a stipple brush or any type of brush to do this as well. But I find that with my finger, I can really control what I'm doing. And the mix of the two of these together really looks nice on. I am using two different fingers for each one. So that's a trick you can use as well. And I am only going at the edges of the embellishments. I do not want it to cover the beautiful blue stuff that I already covered. I just want to kind of make all the beautiful embellishments stand out. So that's why I'm gently doing it, and I'm also doing it on the borders to kind of frame things. So it's framing the camera over here, but it still keeps it as blue. And again, the same as with the paint, I have to turn things around. And if there is areas where I can't reach, that's okay. I can just use a paintbrush afterwards to kind of reach those areas. The light bulb really needs to be painted all in gold, because that's kind of like the flash, but also the inside rim of this big flash, so this is the actual flash of the camera, needs to be also painted in like a golden color. I'm going to turn this around. I experimented in the back, as you can see, but I do want to leave this blue here, so I'm not going to add too much of the blue here. I mean too much of the gold, because I want to leave this blue intact like that. So you get the blue and the gold as well. And of course I can't forget the little frames. Because I need to match the rest. And these are going to be glued together with the picture. So here you can see how beautiful it looks. It looks like an antique relic. I love how it looks. Oh, it's so beautiful. So I glued the photo in the frame, and then I realized that I needed two photos because it would look weird if the other side was blank. So I put two photos the same back to back, and now I'm going to glue these onto my frame, into here. So it's going to look like this. It's hard to see, but it's going to look just like that, when I finish it, and you'll see it in the finished pictures. I'm gonna glue this with some soft matte gel. It's actually hardened soft matte gel, so that's why I'm using it, because I really want to have something matte. You could use hard gel, you could use, heavy gel, but that one is a little bit glossy, so I prefer to put the soft matte gel here. You could use 3D gel, anything works. Since it's gonna be sitting here on top of it, they're all permanent, so it doesn't really matter. I just want to make sure that it stays on. But the nice thing is that the matte part of it will make it that it doesn't look glossy afterwards. So I'm gonna let this dry before I take any photos of it, because I really want this to be totally dried on top, otherwise it will fall for sure. And then that's it. That's how easy it is to alter anything. So
I hope this video inspired you, and if you have an old camera that you want to alter or you want to use any of these techniques, I would love to see anything you create, so please share it with me. Now to learn about how to win all these amazing prizes from the sponsors. All you have to do is watch each video and like each video. Then please comment on each of the videos letting us know what you liked about each video and what country you're from. We will select random winners from different videos, so it's make sure that you actually comment in each video. And the most important thing is that you must be subscribed to all the channels. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on social media. For more inspiration, subscribe to my channel and visit me on my website. Now here is the next video to hop along to.